was a Tuesday morning, like any other in Minneapolis, the kind of morning that carried the routine sound of church bells and the quiet chatter of families gathering together at Annunciation Catholic School, children in uniforms, clutching hymn books, parents and grandparents filling the rows of folding chairs inside the gymnasium. The atmosphere felt safe, peaceful, even sacred. No one inside could have imagined how quickly that peace would shatter. Just before the second hymn began, a man pushed through the side entrance of the gymnasium. At first, no one paid attention. Some thought he was late for the service, but then came the sound that silenced everything. The sharp crack of gunfire bouncing against the walls. The echo of terror filling the room in an instant. The crowd erupted, parents throwing themselves over children. Pews and chairs collapsing as chaos swallowed the sanctuary. The gunman moved methodically, firing round after round, and in those horrifying minutes, lives were lost, innocence was stolen, and the city of Minneapolis was changed forever. Outside the school, the sound of sirens grew louder by the second. The flashing red and blue lights of squad cars filled the quiet neighborhood streets. Neighbors rushed to their porches, unable to comprehend what was happening. Armed officers stormed through the front doors, weapons drawn, while paramedics set up triage on the front lawn. Parents screamed names into the chaos, searching for their children, the air thick with fear, confusion, and disbelief. What had been a morning of prayer was now a scene of violence that would echo across the nation. 17 people wounded, 2 young lives lost, and countless others scarred forever. Survivors later spoke of the sound of books falling, the screams of teachers guiding students toward side exits, the desperate rush of people pressing against the doors. Some recalled crawling across the floor, their hands trembling as they shielded their children. Others remembered the silence that followed the gunfire, a silence so heavy it seemed impossible that only minutes before there had been singing, laughter, and joy in that same room. The shooter was quickly subdued by responding officers, and within hours, his name began circulating through news outlets. A young man in his 20s, once a student in the same city, now consumed by hate. Investigators later uncovered a manifesto in his apartment filled with anger towards the Catholic Church, pages and pages of words dripping with extremism, bitterness, and rage. It became clear that this was not just an isolated act of violence, but something deeper, something rooted in ideology, something that demanded a federal response. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. By nightfall, the FBI had taken the lead. Agents in dark jackets moved through the school, collecting shell casings and bullet fragments. Marking the gymnasium floor with yellow numbered tags, they carried out evidence boxes filled with papers, laptops, and personal items seized from the suspect's home. Federal officials called this not just a school shooting, but an act of domestic terrorism, a targeted hate crime against a religious community in America. The discovery of the manifesto shocked the nation. Its language was filled with venom directed not only at Catholics, but at faith itself. It spoke of cleansing. It spoke of violence. As if it were duty, this document transformed the case from a local tragedy into a national security matter, raising questions about online radicalization, about extremist groups that quietly recruit through encrypted chats and hidden forums. The FBI warned that this attack could inspire others, and so the investigation widened, stretching far beyond Minnesota into the unseen corners of the internet where hate breeds in silence. As details emerged, political leaders stepped before podiums. President Trump called the act despicable. Governor Tim Walz spoke of healing and resilience former. President Obama called for unity and reflection, and yet their words no matter. How strong could not erase the grief that hung heavy over Minneapolis across. The country flags were lowered to half-mast, schools held moments of silence, and families hugged their children a little tighter. The debate over gun violence over extremism over the safety of America's schools reignited with new fire. 2 nights later, the schoolyard glowed with candlelight hundreds of people gathered shoulder to shoulder in the cool evening air, holding flickering flames that pushed back the darkness there, where prayers whispered through tears, children's voices singing softly hymns that had been interrupted. That terrible morning, parents clung to one another as names of the victims were read aloud. The candles burned long into the night, a symbol that though hate had tried to silence them, the community would not bow to fear. And so Minneapolis grieves, but it also remembers. It remembers the bravery of teachers who shielded children, the courage of first responders who rushed toward danger, the resilience of families who now carry scars both visible and invisible. This is the story of a single morning in a single school, in a single city, yet its echoes are felt far beyond. Minnesota, it is a reminder that the threat of violence and extremism still lingers in America, that no community is untouched. And as investigators continue their search for answers, the candles lit in Minneapolis remind us of something greater, that even in the shadow of hate, the light of unity remains. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting true crime stories.